Hi there. This is an open letter, an open video to all the employees of United Airlines who are suffering right now. It's also a video for those of you who are going through any kind of crisis, trial, suffering, or sadness in your life. I'm Wendy Keller. I run the Compassion page on Facebook, Wendy Keller Compassion page, and the site wendykeller.com. Both of these are full of ways for people who are suffering to get through difficulties, tragedies, and traumas in their lives in the most healthy and efficient ways possible. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to give you the top 10 tips that anyone can use to help them get through a crisis. So tip number one. Tip number one is allow yourself to feel. Emotions are weird. If you try and stop them or block them or prevent them or deny them, they tend to last longer. So feel what you're feeling. How you do this crisis in your life is how you do your whole life. So if you're feeling rage, you're probably a rage person. You're probably an angry person. If you're feeling shame, you probably absorbed a lot of shame in your childhood. If you're feeling sadness or any of the many emotions you could be feeling right now, those are things that are learned behaviors, and so is your recovery from them. Think about other times when you had the same feeling, even if it wasn't to the same magnitude at previous times in your life, because in that strategy that you used successfully before are clues to how you can get through it this time. So allow yourself to feel those feelings and allow yourself to look for ways to get through them. The second tip is accept the help you are offered. In our culture, we try to be stoic. We try to resist other people needing us, and we power ourselves up, and we try to be independent, and I don't need anybody. Well, when you're going through a crisis, you kind of do. So look for people who are being kind to you and be graceful, gracious, receive what they've got to say or do. It might just be a hug or an email or a friend who calls to see how you're doing, or maybe more. Somebody brings you a casserole or gives you a loan or something that really makes a difference in your life. Just say yes. Just say yes and allow yourself to be carried, comforted, and supported during this time in your life, because we know you'll return the favor later. Those people are paying it forward. Give them the pleasure of that. Point number three, the third tip you can apply to get through a crisis in your life is to be kind to yourself. So many people, when they're going through a crisis, feel so odds and ends, disconnected, not like they're even able to focus. That's a pretty normal reaction. So it's important that you be extra gentle with your physical body. Go to bed an hour earlier. Let someone else cook dinner. Do paper plates instead of dishes you're going to have to wash. Take the time to curl up and read a book, or just be gentle. Take a long shower, light a scented candle. Do something. Spend time with your friends. Do something that's extra nice for yourself every single day while you're going through a crisis. Tip number four is watch for fallout. Oh, there can be so much fallout from a crisis. You might feel yourself so upset by this rift in the normal life you were living that you decide to make drastic changes. I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to sell this house. I'm going to move to Toledo. I'm going to move to Europe. You know what, that's it. I'm getting rid of this man or this woman or whatever. Don't make rash decisions while you're going through this. There's an old saying, act in haste, repent at leisure, which means you might be sorry later. So if you're making a decision when you're not in your right state of mind, you can kind of figure that a few months or years down the line, you're going to look at that decision that you made when you were in the middle of a crisis state and realize it's probably not your best one. Give yourself some time to calm down. Next, get professional help if you need it. Now, this is hard for a lot of people to hear. Oh, I got my friends. Oh, I'll read some self-help books. Listen to me, please. You must look for someone who doesn't have any skin in the game. A book can't customize itself to your specific needs, no matter how hard the authors try. I'm an author, I know. But a professional person, maybe a therapist or a psychiatrist or a clergy person or even a life coach, they've been trained in how to help you listen to yourself and make new decisions and see things from new perspectives. Give it a chance. If you're not getting better and it's been a couple of weeks, It's time to call in the pros. Next, and this is important, this is tip number 6, is to get yourself a space. Give yourself time to heal. Give yourself a realistic time frame. I'm not saying in months or hours. When my children died in a car accident in 1991 and I was severely injured, I wasn't the driver, I was just a passenger, I have to say that I wanted it over. That anguish just could not continue. I used the tips I'm sharing with you to get through and get strong and get stable, and they're part of what I teach on wendykeller.com and on the compassion page. And I want to share with you that when you give yourself time to heal and go through the emotions, the ups and the downs and the processes, you actually heal faster. Right now you're probably experiencing low energy. That's because your brain is processing. Just like when you have too many browsers open and you're watching a video or who knows what, all these things are demanding power from your internet. It's the same kind of thing with your brain. So there's no should. Nobody can tell you you should be over that by now, or that wasn't such a big deal. If you're still processing it and you're getting help, you're in the right space. You're making progress. Good for you. Now, here's a twist. Tip number 7 is find a way to help someone else. It might just be, calling a friend who's also going through a rough time, even if you don't think what they're going through is as bad as what you're dealing with. It might mean, spending extra time playing a game with your children, or allowing that sleepover you don't really have the energy to have, or going out and working in a shelter or in a food kitchen to help the people less fortunate than you. Even if you're struggling, it might mean taking a plastic garbage bag and some gloves and going picking up trash along the side of the road and no one even knows it. Be a big brother or big sister, doesn't matter what you do. But when we help other people, it's kind of weird, but it helps us to see that everyone suffers in their lives. Everybody goes through suffering. Everybody goes through crises, large and small. And who's to say what's large to one person might be small to another? Give yourself the gift of helping others when you're going through your own crisis. Next, this is important for some of you. Please be aware of your addictions and your OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. If you have this sudden desire to do something extreme like clean the whole house with a Q-tip, that might not be a good idea. If you decide to fill yourself up with smoking or drinking or drugs or shopping or any other behavior that isn't actually healthy in real life and you kind of know it, now is not the time to go overboard. That's what these 10 tips will do for you. They'll help you to calm down so that you don't feel that drive to immediately get involved in things that are not going to work for you in the long term. Think it through. There's an option here, a lot of options here that you could take to get the endorphins besides going to your preferred substance. So one of them, and this is going to sound weird, I know, for those of you who haven't done it before, is to take just 2 to 5 minutes a day and sit down somewhere quiet, could be the bathroom with the door locked, and do some deep breathing. And while you're breathing, focus on your lungs expanding and contracting. While your lungs are expanding and contracting, it's proof positive you are still alive. And if you're alive, you can get through this, right? It's dying that kind of causes the problems, the big problems. You want to take the time to listen to yourself breathe and focus on yourself breathing, because it has this way of calming you down and helping you to get centered in yourself and really start to focus rationally on how to take care of yourself and others around you for whom you may be responsible, even if it's your job. Point number 9, and this is a valuable one, is asking, now what can I learn from this? I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that you deserve this or that whatever you learn is the reason why. Far be it from me to ever know why anybody goes through any suffering. You don't even need to know that in your own case. But what you do need to do is get whatever good you can out of this. It would be a shame if you went through this experience and learned nothing. So start to ask your brain, hey brain, what can we learn from this? What could I do differently so this never happens to me again? Or what could I do differently so that the people who are suffering that I care about never go through this again? What changes would I like to make? Those kinds of questions about what you can learn from this, how you can modify your life from this so you can be happier in the future, are what it's really going to benefit you the most, or what is really going to benefit you the most. And finally, tip number 10 is to visualize your victory. Think about what kind of great things you want after this is over. What do you really want out of your life? What kind of job do you want? If you're a United Airlines employee, maybe you're thinking about going to work for a different company, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're thinking about trenching in and being even better and better at your work there. Maybe you want a new relationship, or you don't like and want to fix the existing one, or any number of things, but this is your chance. Right? Think about it. If it's something external, take a picture off the internet, print it, or from a magazine and put it where you can see it, and start to think about how good your life is going to be when you get over this hurdle, because you will get over this hurdle. And when you apply the 10 tips I just shared, you'll get over the hurdle even faster. I promise these 10 tips will help you go a long way to overcoming the crisis that you're enduring now, no matter what it is. My name is Wendy Keller. You can find me on Facebook at Wendy Keller Compassion Page, or check out my website at wendykeller.com. Thanks for watching.